Hello there and welcome to my training. I'm Jennifer Merchant and I'm here currently, I'm not sure how long it will last, with my princess Sapphire. She's on my lap right now. I call her princess. So she's chilling with me. I spoil her. So if you don't know who I am already, I am a mindset and habit coach and also an integrative health practitioner in training, which is super exciting to say because I don't know, I'm just super excited about it. It's going to be official very soon, and I'm going to be kind of merging my mindset and habit coaching with my integrative health practitioner certification because what I've noticed is I work on mindset and habits in general, but most people that I work with want to work on their health. And it's perfect because that's what I'm super passionate about. And I've been researching and learning about health forever. So I'm really excited because that's basically what I'm doing anyway. So the certification is just kind of making it official. Also, just a little side note, I have a bit of a sore throat, so I have some lemon and ginger tea with me right now. Hopefully that will help me get through this video. So we'll see how that goes. So today, I'm going to share with you my 5-step process to implementing a new healthy habit. And the 5-step process is super simple, it's straightforward, and it's sustainable. So it's going to help you. I'm sure there's many of us who have, oh, she left. Bye, Kitty. I'm sure there's many of us who have tried to implement a new habit, but haven't been successful for whatever reason. Either you just you couldn't do it, you couldn't stick to it, you did it really well for a few weeks, but then fell off the wagon like it happens to the best of us. And what my hope for you is that this process will help you to successfully implement a new habit so that you don't fall off the wagon again like you have in the past. And there's a lot of science behind this. I didn't make it up. I've gotten it from reading tons of books and studying habits. So a great book if you're interested to learn more, excuse me, to learn more about habits and the science behind it and how they all work. A great book to read is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And yeah, it's super interesting, tons of examples, and a lot of the science behind it, really interesting. But I'm going to share with you the basic process and some other things that I've put in there to make it really work. And I've done this myself. Sorry. For a lot of habits. I'm really trying to get through this because I don't want to not do the video, so I'm hoping you can bear with me with my little cold. So the example that I'm going to be using throughout this video is going to be my morning routine. And if you know anything about me, you'll know that it's a miracle that I even have a morning routine. I used to hate mornings. I was the opposite of a morning person. I was that person that would wake up, roll out of bed, throw clothes on, get to work, running late all the time because I just didn't want to wake up. And you couldn't talk to me until 9 or 10 o'clock, so I'd just be zombie land, not productive at all. And so I wanted to change that, and now I have a morning routine that's super productive. So it's I wake up, I drink a glass of water, shower, and then after my shower, my morning routine really starts. So excuse me. I usually do a meditation and then a visualization, and then I read my book. And that's all while sitting in front of my light therapy lamp because my light therapy lamp, especially in winter, I really need it. It helps me a lot. So usually the whole thing takes about 30 minutes, give or take a little bit. And then once I finish that, I will go and get dressed for the day and get ready and then leave. So that's my morning routine. Hi, Ruth Ann. Thanks for watching. Okay. So that's going to be my example through the whole time. But like I said, I use this process to help me instill that because it was really hard for me to create a morning routine from where I was, but the process helped me. And it makes implementing habits really easy. So, excuse me. Okay, so step 1, let's get started. Step 1 to implementing a new healthy habit is kind of obvious, but it is actually choosing your habit, and you want to be as specific as possible. The trick to this is the morning routine I just shared with you. I didn't do that all at once. I did one step at a time. I started with reading because that was what was easy for me at the time. And then I added meditation, and then I added visualization, and then I added water. Now, looking back, Probably should have done the water first because now I know how important that is, but I did this morning routine a long time ago, so it's before I knew all the benefits of drinking water as soon as you wake up. But that's how I did it. You want to start with one thing at a time. That's going to help you be successful. It's not going to be super overwhelming for you. Now, once you go through the whole 5 steps of the process with your one thing, and it starts to become a habit, which I'll tell you how you will know when it starts to become a habit on step 4. 4. And then once it starts to become a habit, you can add on to the habit, or you can start working on your next habit because it's not going to take as much effort to stick to it anymore. So step 1 is picking your action. You want to be super specific. What exactly is it? Where are you going to be when this happens? Like, what time? Is there a time? Is there like, what details around it are you going to do? Like for me, obviously my morning, I need to wake up at 5:45. Well, now when I started, it was like 6:30. I also lived in a different place. But anyways, what time? What exactly do you want to do? Where are you going to be? For me, I'm in my living room on my couch with my light therapy lamp in front of me. So like I said, be as specific as possible. It doesn't have to have a time connected to it. It doesn't have to have certain things connected to it, but as specific as you can. So step 1 is choosing your action. Step 2 is choosing a cue to go with your action, a cue or a trigger. So you want something that's going to remind you to do your habit so that you don't have to like think of that all the time or remember. Like you have something that's going to help you. So a really good example of this, and it's something that I used to do all the time. I'm sure I'm not the only one that did this. So whenever I used to be in the car and I like something would pop in my head that I want to remember, but I didn't have like a piece of paper or pencil or anything to write it down, but I was like going somewhere, I had to get out of my car, I'd like find something in my car, there a napkin or like a receipt or something, I'd fold it up and I would put it in the heater, like the heating vent. I put it in there, then I'd leave and I'd come back to my car hours later, I'd see it there and I'd be like, oh yeah, I put that there so it would remind me to do this or like think that or something like that, whatever it was. Make an appointment for my dentist or something. And that's like a cue. Now your cue can be attached to your habit and it can. So the thing that I just said is not attached to the habit, but it is attached to it in my brain. So I see it and I remember it, but I don't have to remember it the whole time and worry about forgetting. For the example of my morning routine, my cue is actually my alarm, which is kind of obvious, but my cue is my alarm. My alarm goes off and I know, okay, it's time for me to get up, go shower, and read. So that's my cue. And I also have, like your cue, you want to make it so it triggers your memory, but also makes it easy for you. So along with my alarm, I also have my robe sitting on a hook right by my bed. And that way I can get out of bed, throw my robe on, and then I have it already. I can like warm up and walk straight to the bathroom. So that makes it easy for me because that was a really big challenge. I didn't want to get out of bed because it was so cold. So I throw my robe on and that's easy. That's Ruth Ann said, that's a great idea. I will try that. Good. And if you try it, definitely let me know how it goes. And if anyone else is watching this and you try any of the things I talk about, let me know how it goes for you. And I'm super excited to hear if you successfully implement a new habit. So yes, your cue, you want to make it so it will remind you to do your habit and also so it'll make it as easy as possible. So for if you're going to do like, maybe you're going to switch your breakfasts out for a healthy smoothie. So your cue for that can be, like for me, for my smoothies, I make them ahead of time and freeze them and then take them out. But if you're not going to do that, if you're going to make it in the morning, you can put your cup like on the counter. So you'll come out and you'll see the cup there and you'll be like, oh yeah, I have to make my smoothie. But you won't have to worry about it or think about it. So the cue makes it really easy to stay consistent. So there's more to that, but once we finish the next step, I'll tell you more about the science behind it. And like I said, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg really goes in depth if you want to learn more. So now we have the first step, which is choosing your action as specific as possible. Step 2 is figuring out what cue you want to trigger your action. And step 3 is choosing a reward. Now, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're going to want to adopt habits that are positive, right? So the habits that we have are going to have a reward attached to them already. Like for my morning routine, the reward that's attached to it is like I start my day feeling filled up with energy, positive, like I'm not groggy, I'm not grumpy when I get to work as long as I do my morning routine and everything like that. So that has a reward in it, and most of the habits that you're going to try to implement will. But when you're starting out, when you're starting out with a new habit, to kind of encourage you to keep with it more, you want a external reward attached to it too. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. One thing is that you can, if you do it a certain amount of times per week, or if you're really consistent and you do your habit every day per week, then you can treat yourself to something at the end of that week. And that's just like kind of encourages you to keep going when you need the extra motivation, because the action isn't yet turned into a habit. So it's helpful. The one caveat I will add to that is whatever reward that you attach to your habit, you want to make sure it's something you don't normally do. You want to make sure it's something that's additive and not something that you would normally do, because you only want to give yourself the reward if you follow through with the action. But if something you normally do, then if you don't follow through with the action, you're not going to give yourself it, and it's going to feel more like a punishment. So whatever you want, you choose for your reward needs to be additive and special and like an extra little treat, but not feel like a punishment when you don't get it, because we're not perfect and we're not always going to stick to our habits all the time. So you want to make sure it's lifting you up, not pushing you down, if that makes sense. So a great example would be maybe you treat yourself to like your favorite hot chocolate or tea or something that you normally don't go and get, and like you normally stay away from, but you can do that. You can treat yourself, you can maybe do like a face mask. Like I love doing face masks, but I don't ever do them really. Like I need to do them more, but that's good reward for me. Like, okay, if I do this, I'm gonna take like a half an hour on Saturday and just do a face mask and relax. But if I don't, no big deal, I'll just do something else. So that's number 3, that's a reward. So it's super important that you have these 3 steps, because the definition of a habit is it's an action that has a cue or trigger and a reward attached to it. You can't have a habit that doesn't have a cue and a reward, and that's the part that we miss a lot of times. We just try to like do the action, but there's nothing cueing it and there's nothing rewarding it. And the reason that's so important is because over time, once it starts to become a habit, your brain develops a craving. It's kind of like when you train a dog, which we are all animals, so we can say that. My princess is back. Okay, so it's like when you train a dog. Hey, what are you doing? So they're going to do an action, you're going to reward them, but there's usually a cue attached. So as soon as you say shake, shake is the cue, their action is shake, the reward is a treat. So as soon as you say shake, they're not thinking about shaking. They're thinking about the treat they're going to get after they shake. And that's what that's how an action becomes a habit. You have to develop the craving, and the craving has to be attached to the cue, not the action. Because in the beginning, you will develop a craving for your reward. And the reward that you're going to develop the craving for is the natural reward, the one that is not external. It's the one that's actually going to be the habit, because that's what you're getting out of it. At first, it will be attached to the actual action. Over time, as soon as the cue hits, your brain's going to know, oh, this cue hits, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get this. So you start craving it as soon as the cue hits. That's when it becomes a habit. That's when it becomes so hard to break, because you're craving it so much. As soon as that trigger happens, you're like, well, I'm doing it. So you don't have to think about it. So that's why the first 3 steps are super important. And again, if this is interesting to you, you want to learn more about it, read that book. I'm telling you, it goes super in depth. It's really good. So now we have number 1 is choose your action. Number 2 is choose your cue. And number 3 is choose your reward. Step number 4 is track your progress. This is super important. We need to know where we're at. We need to know if we're doing good. We need to know if we're not doing so great, so we can adjust along the way. Tracking is so important. There's a couple different ways you can do it. I like to track in my planner, and my planner actually has I use a Panda planner. Love it. Love it. It's like my soulmate planner. But for each month, you can pick one habit that you're going to track. And it has a square on every single day on the monthly calendar. And it has a square that you can check off whether you did your habit or not. And then it also has it on the dailies too. So you can check it off anywhere. But on the monthly calendar, I really like it, because you can check off the X's. And then once you get like 3 or 4 X's, you start to get a streak. And it's like a thing in your brain, some scientific thing in your brain, that when you see a streak, you're more apt to follow through because you don't want to break the streak. And especially once you get to like 15, 16 days, you're going to be like, wow, I'm doing so good. Like if you miss, you're not going to want to miss a day because then it will break your streak. So it's like a really nice way to track it. And then the title of the book, yes, it is The Power of Habit, and the author is Charles Duhigg. His last name is like Duhigg, I believe. Really good. I read it a year or two ago, but really good. So if you do the red X, then 1, it helps you, like, you don't want to break the streak. 2, you have to write down every day whether you did the habit or not. So that's going to keep it in the forefront of your mind. You're not going to forget. Like, if you don't track it, it's very easy to forget what's going on, like that you want to do this habit. You can go through your whole day. The Q helps you with this, but tracking at the end of the day, you can be like, well, I have to write down whether I did this or not, so I should probably do it because I have to like be holding myself accountable to that. So, okay, so yes. And then another way to track it is you can kind of like, I don't know, that's my favorite way. You can also, like, there's habit trackers you can download where you put all your habits and you have like Sunday through Saturday and you just write them down. You have like a goal amount. I have this on my workbook that I give out to people, my goal setting and habit implementation workbook. At the end, there's a habit tracker. And as every day of the week, you can fill in your habits and you just X off which ones you did. And a goal, so like some of them, like exercising, you might only want to do 3 times a week. So your goal is 3. So you just mark off 3, and then like you say whether you hit your goal or not. So that's a great way to track as well. And be creative, like whatever is fun for you, make it fun. You want this to be a good process and not like a chore that you have to do or like don't want to do. So, all right, we're almost there. So I'm gonna try to get through with my tea. Okay, so after you track, the last step, and this is super important, and it's one that can be the make or break, the deal breaker for you. So number 5 is get yourself some accountability. We break promises to ourselves all the time. It's so easy, but like how often do you really break a promise to someone else? Like you feel so much more motivated to keep promises and commitments when someone else knows about it or someone else is holding you accountable. So get yourself some accountability. Now, you can hold yourself accountable a little bit yourself by the tracking. That is a form of accountability. I really like using friends and family as accountability. One moment, I need more tea. I tried to do this video earlier and I had to stop because my voice got so bad. So I'm hoping I can make it all the way through this time. So, okay, so I really like getting friends and family involved. Now, it can be as simple as you just tell them what you want to do and ask them to check in with you once in a while, or make it fun and get them involved. Like, have them do the new habit with you and then hold each other accountable. And one thing I love about this is actually, like, working out. Like, my habit of working out right now, Ruth Ann, who's on this video, we work out together. And it's perfect because sometimes I don't want to go and sometimes she doesn't want to go, but we always, like, because the other one is going, we go together. It's like we're so much more apt to go. When I worked out by myself, it was so easy to skip. Now I go every time. So, like, get yourself friends and family to be involved. And, like, with my morning routine, Nathan knows whether I do it or not. I told him this is really important to me. And he's there and he encourages me to wake up. He knows he doesn't always wake up with me, but he still encourages me to follow through because he knows it's important to me. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get accountability. If you don't necessarily have a friend or a family member that will hold you accountable, or you're just that kind of person, or this habit is so big you just feel like you need more help, like that's where a coach can be really come in handy. Like I've had a coach before and it just puts my productivity like into overdrive because I know that I have to check in with her every week or every other week or every day, and like, so I know, well, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, she's gonna know and then she's gonna be disappointed, so I need to do what I'm gonna do. And like, plus I'm paying her to coach me, so it gives you that like added level of encouragement to follow through with your habit. So that's really great too. I personally offer a 12-week program, and the 12-week program is perfect because like within 12 weeks, by the end of the 12 weeks, you will have developed a craving and you'll have a habit. So how do you know when it's a habit? You know when it's a habit when you develop the craving. And like once you develop the craving and you know the habit is formed, you don't necessarily have to track it anymore. You don't necessarily have to do the external reward anymore. It should be into your daily like life. It should be there. So you can, that's when you know you can add on to your habits or do anything like that. So that basically concludes my 5-step process to implementing a new healthy habit. So I'll review real quick. Step 1 is pick your action, be as specific as possible. Detail it out exactly what you want to do. Step 2 is get a cue. The cue, again, should be right in your face. It's going to remind you, you're going to see it, it's going to be connected to the habit, and it's going to make it easy for you to do. Like, we're going to make this easy as possible. Like I said, implementing new habits is already hard enough, so make it easier on yourself. Do whatever you can so that it's as little work as possible. Okay, step 3 is pick a reward. The reward, there will be a reward already you're getting it from the habit, but in the beginning, do an external reward to encourage you to stick to it. And then step 4, track. I really like doing the X's on the calendar, but if you have a different way that you like better, you can do that too. And step 5 is get yourself some accountability. It can be yourself, but it's much better if it's a third party, family, friend, someone who's going to hold you accountable. Better yet, someone who's going to do it with you. And if you need that extra support, hire a coach, invest the money. They're going to help you make sure that you stick to your promises because, like I said, it's so easy to break promises to yourself. It's not that easy to break them to other people, especially if you have money invested in it. So that concludes my training today. I hope you got something out of it. If you want, I do have a goal setting and habit implementation workbook that can help you implement new habits successfully. It goes a little bit further than what I talked about today. I'll put that in the description or in the first comment if you want that. And if you're interested in talking about my program and seeing if you're interested in that extra step of accountability and you think that might be the right step for you, I'll put a link to learn more about that as well. So any questions, anything at all, leave them below. I will get back to you. And thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.